What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. I didn't know this when I was reading this book, and then I was like, marking that I'd read it in Goodreads and everything like that, and I noticed that she also wrote The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which I should have known because it was also written on the cover, but I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and it was very interesting. It wasn't my favorite. It's a middle grade novel, but there is something about the way that this author writes that is very fairy tale. It's very lyrical, like it feels very whimsical, and you can definitely sense that in When Women Were Dragons as well. I want to start off by saying that I gave this book a 4.5 stars, and I am giving it an A-, and it's so strange to me because this book was so good, but I think the problem was the pacing, and that lyrical quality just took me a while to get into the story, because we are set back in time, like we're in the 1950s, and we live in a world where women can do something called dragoning. And in particular, in the 1950s, there was this mass dragoning where women from all over the US, all spontaneously at the same time, dragoned and left their homes and left their lives. And what I mean by dragoning is that these women literally turn into dragons. And there's lots of studies going on about it and blah, 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 but it's the 1950s, so everything is basically the same except for this dragoning thing. So the fact that women can turn into dragons, the fact and the reasons for it are all very hush-hush, almost as if you were talking about like periods or menstrual cycles or things like that. It's just seen as like a woman's problem. The main character's story, Alex, is introduced when she's very young. I think she's like 4 or 5 at the beginning of this book, and we meet her this young because it sets up the relationship with her mother versus her aunt, which is very important to the overall story. However, starting it when she was this young was a little bit strange to me. I found myself not getting into the story until we were well over halfway and Alex was becoming a teenager. That's kind of a me thing. I am naturally more drawn to those types of stories, whereas when she's so much younger, I see why we were here, because we were here to see, like, Alex doesn't view the world as how it's happening. She views it as a child. She also views it as a child from the standpoint of parents who are sheltering her from a lot of things that are happening in the world. And it takes a long time for that glass to shatter. But in order for that moment to have so much meaning, we do have to start so far back in time. We'll also say, starting the book here and seeing her life go forward, it fills you with this feminine rage, which is like ever present in the book, of just these little subtleties of how women are treated differently and how women are talked to, things that are expected of Alex and her aunt and her mother. And every time it happens, you're just like, why is it like this? What's going on? And suddenly you start to understand why women dragon and why these things happen. And I really love that the author made the distinction that it's not like the sex that it says on your birth certificate that means whether or not you can dragon. It's this overall identifying of that feminine, of being a woman, that allows you to dragon. So that opens it up to trans women as well, which I really enjoyed. And seeing it through the lens of Alex and how she goes on her life and her sister and all that, it was very beautiful. Like, I did find myself with a lot of questions by the end of it, but overall it was a very beautifully done story. Like I said, I am giving it an A-, and mostly it is for those pacing issues, and it also is just like this author's writing style isn't exactly for me. It takes me a very long time to get into it, but I definitely enjoyed her YA/new adult take on her way of storytelling much better than her middle grade take on it. So I would recommend this book. I would say, just go into it knowing that it might be like a little bit of an undertaking, but overall I did really enjoy this story, and I would definitely be open to reading some more things by this author. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to Talk Books with me every week. That's everything I got for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.